So what we're hoping in the future for you is that you find your own superpower in your career, and your superpower is something that you enjoy, because when you enjoy, you become good at it. And when you're good at something, you enjoy it. So it's a bit chicken and egg. And then you don't feel like you're going to work every day, you just enjoy yourself. So does that sound good for your adult life? Yeah, definitely. So, without further ado, I'm going to now pass over to our Mayor of West Yorkshire, Tracy Brabin, for her to say a few words. Thank you.
Hi everybody, can you hear me okay? Yeah. Good stuff, good stuff. I'll just hold it. Good to see you. And talking about superpower, when people say to me about politicians, I'm Tracy Brabin, I'm the Mayor of West Yorkshire, but I was the Member of Parliament for Batley and Spen before I became your Mayor. And people would say to me, you know, oh, I couldn't get into politics, I don't know anything about it. But I really believe that your lived experience is your superpower. So all the things that you've done in your life, or the things that really annoy you, the things that upset you, putting those into trying to make change for your communities, that's your superpower. So for me, one thing, before I start talking about Manufacturing Week, for one thing, I grew up in a council flat in Batley, with a 2-bedroom flat with my sister and my family, and that's been able to power me to create change, so that when I became the mayor, I said, I'm going to build 5,000 affordable and sustainable homes, because I know that having that secure roof over your head made such a difference to me that I'm going to do it for others. So your lived experience, whatever's going on in your lives, is absolutely your superpower. So trust that experience, because it's going to drive you to great success throughout your lives. So I'm so happy to be here today, and what an amazing school you've got. It's absolutely stunning. It's probably the newest school I've ever been in, or do you just look after it? Because it's just gorgeous. And thank you so much for Bradford Manufacturing Week colleagues for making this happen. And so brilliant to see so many young women coming here today to listen to us to talk about manufacturing and careers. My vision is really, really simple. I want to create a resilient and dynamic and thriving West Yorkshire that works for everybody, not just for those who think that they should get great opportunities, but for everybody in my region, and make it a place where everyone can call it their home, where businesses can thrive, where they can move here to and grow and start up. Because that means good, well-paid jobs and careers for everyone, so we can really enjoy that quality of life we all want to see. We all want to be able to have a holiday. We all want to be able to have somewhere nice to live, or to have a car, or get driving lessons, or you know, pursue a hobby that maybe costs a few quid. And to be able to do that is, the way to do it is to earn. And to be able to do that and to earn in a job that you really like is to really open your mind about what jobs and careers there are out there. Because we have boundless ambition and enthusiasm, and we're so eager to try new ideas and new ways of doing things. And the new ways are called innovation. And innovation runs through our veins here in West Yorkshire, because we were the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution. And hands up who knows Sir Titus Salt? Anyone? Yeah! Because he was an industrialist, and he used his profit to build a village called Saltaire for the workers, where they would live decent lives in good quality homes whilst they worked for him. And he literally changed the world with his motivation. And we've been at the forefront of innovation for centuries. And it's not just about lab coats and inventors and old fellas with long beards. That's not just what inventors are. It's everybody. Every single person in this room has the opportunity to be an innovator. Because it's a mindset, it's a can-do approach. It's a, let's give it a go. Let's just try it, see what happens. Let's not worry about failing. Let's just try. And that can be applied to just about anything. Just last week, and I'm really excited about this, just last week, our Yorkshire Space Hub, based at the University of Leeds, was awarded government funding for the Green Space Project. Now, this project uses satellites and cutting-edge space technology to tackle real issues here on planet Earth, like tracking the impact of the climate change, like predicting floods, improving public services. And it's a brilliant example of how innovation and manufacturing isn't just focused on production lines. It's about innovation and using technology to solve those real world problems. And it's a huge part of our economy. One of 3 biggest employers, and 120,000 jobs in our region. There are more jobs in manufacturing in West Yorkshire than anywhere else across the north. So for all those other mayors in the north, like Andy Burnham, saying that's the home of manufacturing, that's not right. It's here in West Yorkshire. What's really exciting about our manufacturing, though, is that it's really diverse from many different sectors. Historic textile mills, award-winning furniture makers, precision machinery industries, chemical manufacturers whose products are sold all across the world. Kirkstall Precision Engineering, a company that creates bespoke items across everything from medical devices to textiles, motorsports, energy, the food industry. And I went on a visit and I met a woman who was doing some really precise cutting on a machine. And I got talking to her and I said, what did you do before? And she said, I was a chambermaid in a hotel. I'm like, wow, that's quite a leap. She said, because this company interview anybody who is interested in engineering. It doesn't matter if you've got a degree, it doesn't matter if you've got the right GCSEs or A-levels. What they wanted was someone with the mindset who would be open to learning. So she's gone from what is quite a low-paid job into something that is really well paid, which has fantastic career opportunities, where she could work all over the world with her new talents. So don't ever think it's over till it's over, because if you go down one path, you never know, there might be other opportunities elsewhere. But what really matters is that can-do, curiosity to try new things and to be open-minded. Because here in our region, we are open to meeting challenges head-on and embracing those opportunities for growth and transformation. What was really great as well about precision engineering in Kirkstall, and the same with Produmax in Bradford, is that they're really excited about apprentices. Produmax make bits for aeroplanes, and I went to visit them, and they have one of the youngest group of apprentices I've ever met, and also the most diverse. So many young women, so many women of colour in their organisation, really excited about the work that they're doing, problem solving for the business, saving the business time and money, and being really welcomed into the organisation and having great opportunities for personal development. Also, just back to space for a second, I'm a bit obsessed by space, and I think we in West Yorkshire could really be on the front foot in the country. There's hundreds of satellites in orbit now round this planet that have chips and components built down the road in Shipley. All those bits that make up a satellite, they couldn't make it without that business in Shipley. And all of those clever brains working in Shipley to get those satellites up in the air. I know that the North is an absolute powerhouse of talent, creativity, and high production manufacturing. And West Yorkshire, if you look at us on a map, West Yorkshire is in the heart of the UK, and we're in the heart of the North, and we're the heart of manufacturing. And that's why I set up the Manufacturing Task Force when I became the mayor a couple of years ago. This task force brings together all those brilliant businesses, all those brilliant minds across the region to elevate manufacturing in West Yorkshire. And one of the key tasks is improving the skills of manufacturing. And that's a mission I hold very close to my heart, because these businesses can't be brilliant without the skilled workforce, without all of you and your brilliant intelligence. And we need you, and we need those people with the right skills. Whether you're an engineer, a physicist, a mathematician, a creative designer, an app maker, a coder, there is a place for you in manufacturing, because we need greater diversity to bring fresh perspectives, new ideas, new ways of doing things, dynamic ways of working. So just regardless of your gender, regardless of your background, you should be able to access, feel welcomed and valued in manufacturing. So this is why today is so great, because you're here to listen to us talk a little bit more about careers in manufacturing. And what's really important, I always think, and I see it as the mayor, I can talk about businesses and I can talk about what I want to achieve, but going to a business, that really opens your eyes. So I know that the school and others want you to have hands-on work experience in these businesses, whether that's factory floor, work experience, internships, and that's why I'm here today, because I want you to say to your teachers, I want work experience. I want to know what's going on in manufacturing in our region, because it's a pathway to gaining valuable skills and building a career. So we know that the next generation of manufacturers will look and learn and work differently and play a massive role in tackling the climate emergency. And I know young people are at the vanguard of change when it comes to the climate emergency. You are telling me that you want me to go faster here in West Yorkshire, and I'm happy to listen. So I'm inspired by being here today and to witness so many businesses opening their doors to young people. And all of the young minds that are here, remember, you are the future of manufacturing. You're the innovators, you're the creators, and you are the dreamers. You shape the industries of tomorrow. So give it a go, embrace the world of possibility that manufacturing offers. Never ever stop learning, exploring and creating, and stay curious. The journey ahead is filled with so many opportunities, and honestly, I cannot wait to see what amazing things you are going to go on to achieve. So thank you for inviting me to speak to you. You're an incredible group of young women, and I really look forward to hearing more about your futures. So thank you for inviting me to Bradford Manufacturing Week. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Mayor. So, as I mentioned before, I like helping businesses, but the type of business in many sectors that I work in, my favourite is always manufacturing. And do you know why? It's because they make things. It's quite simple. But it's always so interesting. I always ask for a factory tour, just as Tracy's already mentioned, about opening the doors and having a good look around. The factory tour, it tells you so much about the business, and it's so interesting. And I'm absolutely fascinated every time I go around a different business, the innovation and everything that you can see. And there's so many different roles in manufacturing as well. It's not just the production, it's also the quality control, it's the innovation, it's the research and development, it's the marketing, if you like something like that. It could be the design, and even the accountants. And you'll be amazed how much manufacturing actually goes on when you look around. So, for example, a few of my clients, when you're next on the train and you look down at the train track, and you'll see all these little bolts that are bolting everything together, and they're actually facilitating the whole of the rail network. One of my clients actually supplies those to the whole of the railway network in the country. I know it's not very exciting, little bolt, but just think about it. And when you go into Morrison's and you look at the signage, there's a business in Bradford that actually supplies all that signage. And you can just see. But there's been designers that have designed that as well. And they've used their artwork and their creativity to do that. And I even have a client that produces the fabric for many fashion houses, including Birdbury. So, you know, it can be anything. And there's so much in Yorkshire. It's an absolutely amazing place for manufacture. Now, when I say the word manufacturing to you, what do you have in your mind? Put your hands up. A big factory, maybe? Put your hands up. Yes or no? Oh, everybody must be sat on their hands today. I can't believe it. What about it being a bit dirty? Yeah? Yeah? Machine, thank you. What else? Do we think of a lot of men in overcoats? Mm. Do we think they're a bit dirty and smelly? Yeah. Very loud? Very loud? Yeah. Well, let's see what it's really like. Let's go and have a chat with our panellists, our wonderful panellists here today. Let's hear about them, their superpower, and what manufacturing is really like. I will first hand over to Lou.
Good morning. I'm Lou Franklin, Louise, but everybody calls me Lou. I'm the chief exec for a company called Mansfield Pollard. I'm the co-owner. I bought it 3 weeks before lockdown 1 in February 2020. We are a 157-year-old manufacturing company. I haven't clearly been running it all that time. And we supply products that move air. Anything to do with specialist air. So if you think about being in hospital, somebody needs open heart surgery. The air that comes into that room needs to be really clean. So we do a lot of work with the NHS as an example. We also supply into the data centre market. And what does that mean? Does anybody here have a mobile phone? Everybody takes selfies, uploads it to the cloud, Instagram, Facebook, all of these social media channels. We keep their servers, their computers cool by making sure the hot air is taken away, cool air comes back in, so all your phones keep working. So we do that from Bradford. And a little bit like Vicky said at the start, I, from a very early age, I wanted to be a vet from the very start, actually. I did my A-levels and decided to take a year's break. And I started working in a manufacturing company. And as Vicky said, what I suddenly realised I liked very fast, it was a lighting company, was taking raw material and building a product, something that was created from a small group of people, whether you were designing it, whether you were buying the materials, whether you were manufacturing it, selling it, marketing it. I was fascinated by this world of manufacturing and engineering. And suddenly I found myself wanting to stay in manufacturing and engineering. So I did an apprenticeship and started an apprenticeship in business management. And I was very fortunate the company that I was in, again, as we've talked about at the start of this, gave opportunities to people with the right attitude, right approach. It's not necessarily about having all the answers and having the right qualifications. That comes, it's about having the right attitude, the right approach. And I moved my way up through that business over 17 years, starting in quotations, moved into key account management, head of sales, sales director, and was part of a management team that bought that company. Now, we sold that company in 2015. During that time, it took me all over the world, so I spent 3 weeks a month in the Middle East, the Far East, Australia, New Zealand, America. And the consistent thing I found that I enjoyed was business, was talking to people about business, asking all. I was that irritating girl at the time. I was quite young to be travelling the world in a technical role, but I was the irritating person that kept asking all the questions. Why do you do this? Why do you do that? What does this mean? What does that mean? And I kind of found that I was then in a role, as I am today, that I enjoy, that I love. I don't feel like I go to work every day. I've been at Mansfield Pollard now just over 6 years, and I love the people. I love what we have there. I love the variety, the diversity. As we said at the start, you can do anything in manufacturing. It doesn't mean you have to be in a factory making products. You might be a designer, you might be a CAD technician, you might want to be in procurement, negotiating, marketing. There's a wealth of experience in manufacturing, and if you can find the right company that looks for skills and looks for development and attitude and the right approach, then you'll go really far. So as I said, I'm there now. We have grown significantly over the last few years. As an idea from a turnover point of view, products we sell, we're just around the 30 million mark. We've got ambitious plans to go to 50 million over the next 2 to 3 years, all from Bradford, that then ships out all over the UK. So we've plenty of schools coming into us over Bradford Manufacturing Week, but you know, we welcome anybody to come in and see us and inspire. Certainly young women, as you are now, we need diversity in this sector. We need to continue to grow diversity in the sector. We champion it at Mansfield Pollard. I have 6 board members, 3 are female, 3 are male. We have 13 in our senior leadership team, exactly the same split again, 50-50, because diversity brings different perspectives, different viewpoints, different opinions, and that's ultimately what a business needs. We need lots of people to bring lots of different ideas, and we can take the best bits of all of that and really drive a company forwards. So I think that's probably enough from me for now, but I'll pass on to somebody.
Hi, I'm Debbie Mellor. I'm the Managing Director and owner of Keith Laboratories. Going back to when I sat in a room your age, what did I want to do? All I knew was I wanted to work in an office. I started at Keith Laboratories in 1986, before most of you in this room was born, which is quite sad. And I was given the opportunity there. I started in the accounts office, so I did business and finance and accountancy. And then I did health and safety, then I did transport. So I had quite a varied history in terms of my career progression. And I've been given opportunities the whole way through, and to the point where when the previous owner unfortunately became ill in 2007, he appointed me the MD. So I continued, and that was during my first recession. So that was a bit of a poison chalice. We've worked through the company. 3 years ago, we got the opportunity, myself and my husband, to buy the business. The business has been going 103 years, so not quite as long as yours. So that was a challenge that we took on. We completed this year, in June this year, which I'm very proud of. We've got big plans for the business. Our most recent approval that we got was from Boeing. So that was certainly a goal that we've been working on for the last 6 years. So what Keith Laboratories does, it doesn't manufacture anything, but it supports the manufacturing industry. So we test, analyse and look at metals. So from your chemistry departments, we've got a chemistry lab, which has got lots of bubbling things, lots of interesting machines, high-tech machines where basically somebody gives us a piece of metal. We'll dissolve that into a solution. It gets sucked into the machine looks at it through a spectrum and says what chemical elements are in that. So that's one of the areas that we look at. Another one that we'll look at is titanium. You all know you've heard of titanium. So we'll look at the elemental composition in terms of oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen in that. So that gives the people that have given us the titanium how good that titanium is for use. On the testing side, so we do destructive testing and non-destructive testing. So non-destructive testing, we don't break it. So somebody will give us a product, we'll look at that product using various pieces of equipment and see whether it's fit for use, see whether it's got any cracks in it, see whether there's any inclusions in it, and just say, is it okay to work? On the destructive side, you think of metal as being hard, it's not very hard. So what we have to do on the destructive side is to understand how hard it is, how bendy it is. You don't think of metal as being bendy, but it is. So we look at all the mechanical properties of it. So that's the physics side. A lot of that is related to maths as well. So we've got chemistry, we've got maths, we've got physics. Fits into your STEM, great. And we just look at the various properties so that whoever's using that is happy that it's safe for use. Another area that we work on, and this is what we've got Boeing through, we've got Boeing, we've got Airbus, we've got Safran, we do work for Emirates, is welder approval. So when you're sat on an aeroplane, there are various things on the aeroplane that are welded. And we've qualified that welder to be able to do that so that you're safe on the aeroplane, so that it won't fail. So that's sort of a brief overview. I mean, we do aerospace, we do automotive, engineering, oil and gas, you name it. If anything to do with metal, we'll look at it. And we've got currently 3 apprentices. We've only got a workforce of 22. We've got 3 apprentices. We had a guy in the panel last week. He's our most recent chemistry apprentice. We've just taken on a machining apprentice. So we do have your machine shop, as we alluded to. But it's a high precision machine shop, so the product will come in, we'll machine it, because when we're looking at mechanical properties, it's got to be dimensionally very, very tight tolerances so that we can look at how it works. So he's just started at Keighley College doing his apprenticeship in machining. Apprentices are brilliant, and we've been very lucky to find some great apprentices. And, I certainly advocate anybody in this room, yes, you don't know what you want to do now, but just try different things and then see what interests you.
Good morning, my name's Julie Roberts. I'm the Financial Director at Chris Staines UK. We're based just over the back. You can virtually probably see it from here. I am the one that stuck the hand up. I do know what an accountant does because that is my role at Chris Staines. And it's always, I find hard to explain to younger people what I actually do. Chris Staines has been in Bradford since 1865. So we're a long-standing Bradford company. A lot of people don't know what we did because we sell to businesses. We don't sell to the general public. So we make chemicals that go into the industrial laundry market. So if you've ever stayed in a hotel, been in hospital, eaten in a restaurant that has tablecloths, napkins, you've come into contact with our products because our customers wash those things. So we do wash a lot of NHS laundry. Some hospitals have their own laundry, some actually ship it out to other companies, but we supply all of those. We supply the people that do workwear, so anybody who's got relatives that work in factories and they have uniforms or work in catering as well, those uniforms are quite often washed by our chemicals, by our customers. Here in Bradford, we manufacture a lot of those chemicals. We've got 125 employees that are based out of our Bradford office. But like we were saying, actually, I looked this morning because I knew somebody would ask me, 19 of those 125 people actually work in manufacturing. So those are the people actually mixing and blending our chemicals. We've got 21 that work in the warehouse and transport. So that's quite a small proportion of our workforce who actually have manual jobs. Everybody else is working in more technical roles. So we've got technical account managers that are out on the road looking after our customer sites 24/7. We've got people like me working the administration side of the business. We've got chemists. We've got a lab as well, like you. We test things. We test products. We also test things for our customers. We get duvet covers through the post that have got stains on them. Not very nice, but we have to work out how you get those out and what we can do to help our customers to keep linen clean. So we have chemists as well. We've just got somebody who's done a chemical engineering degree, so he's going to help us with how we make our chemicals and how our processes work. He came as an apprentice and has done a 4-year apprenticeship with us, which is fabulous. I came through a slightly different route to Vicky. I did the more traditional route. I did my A-levels, I went to university, and then I got a job with a training contract to be a chartered accountant like Vicky. I worked in practice for a bit, helping people with accounts, doing audits of companies, but then decided that actually I wanted to go and do it myself. So I went out and worked in the industry. So I've worked in industry now for quite a long while. So I look after the money at Chris Staines, basically. I make sure that all the accounts that people like Vicky come in and check, make sure that they all add up. I make sure all our employees get paid. I make sure all our suppliers get paid as well for the goods that we buy from them, but also that all our customers pay us as well. Because without that, I can't pay my workers. So my job is to look after all of that and the relationships that we have with professional firms, banks, lawyers, the other people we need to help us run our businesses effectively. So we've got a lot of people in manufacturing that aren't on that shop floor. Now, hopefully our factory is quite clean because we make soap and detergent in there. We make washing powder on a big scale, so it does smell nice. The fabric conditioner smells nice. I think the other thing about our business is we realised a few years ago that actually we've got a lot of people that are heading towards retirement. Chris Staines is the sort of company that if you come and you stay a couple of years, you're probably going to be there 30 years. So then all of a sudden you haven't got any young people in our business. And it's actually my ex-boss, Nick, who started Bradford Manufacturing Weeks because he wanted to attract more young people into manufacturing businesses in Bradford. And we then started our apprenticeship scheme as well. And we've got apprentices now who are our production managers. We've got 2 that have just qualified as Class 1 HGV drivers because in COVID you could not find HGV drivers. They'd all gone to work for Tesco's and various other online retailers. So we decided to grow our own. So we got 2 apprentices. And one of them has decided he doesn't actually want to be an HGV driver anymore. He's got his qualification, he's still working for us, but he's working in our engineering team. So that's great, but if we ever need him, he's there and he's got the qualifications we need. So our apprentices go throughout our business. I've got 2 working in finance at the moment who are both doing AAT qualifications. They actually did come and work at Christane's and decided that actually finance was quite nice, whereas most of the others have run a mile and gone somewhere else in the business. And we've got a brilliant young lady called Lucy who works with us, and she is working in HR now. She came as a business admin apprentice, and HR was where she saw her career going. And also we've got our youngest ever one. Henna was not quite 16 when she came to us because her birthday's in August, and she's now working in our quality and health and safety department. And she's now 21. Couldn't believe she was 21. Couldn't believe she'd been with us so long. But we all helped her celebrate her birthday a few weeks ago. So apprentices are really important to our business, and we want to attract more people, and we want to improve the diversity inclusion within our business, but we can only do that if people actually apply. So please do look and see what apprenticeships are out there, because you might find something that suits you. The other thing we do factory tours for schools. We do them throughout the year. We do them in Bradford Manufacturing Weeks. I think we've got 4 during this time, but we do them at any time of the year as well. And we do have people that come in for a whole day and do like an apprentice task and have to design a product and speak to people and do presentations and things, which is great. And we love having young people in our business. But manufacturing is important to Bradford. You might not know we're there, but we are. We're all around, you know, and unless you suddenly know somebody who works there or you come into contact with our products, you wouldn't know we're here, but we definitely are.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Aisha. I studied chemical engineering at the University of Bradford. And in my second year, I was actually fortunate enough to secure a chemical engineering or process engineering internship role at a large manufacturing company known as Solenis. So upon finishing my internship, I then finished off my degree and then actually started to work for Solenis. So I'm not sure if anybody has actually heard of Solenis, but Solenis are a large manufacturing company that produce a wide range of products for many different applications, such as oil and gas, pulp and paper, even wastewater, clean drinking water. However, the role that I actually work in specialises in clean drinking water and wastewater. So my daily role is to attend customer sites and collect samples and help customers achieve, sorry, it's very hard to explain my role, but it's basically helping the customers use the chemical that we supply to them less, so they are saving a lot more money. And I take samples on a daily basis, take them back to the Bradford lab, test them, and make sure that they're using the correct sort of products, and ensure that they are complying with the environmental agencies and things like that, and then offer them support if needs be. The Solenis also have a wide range of roles, so there's process roles, there's engineering roles, there's all sorts, there's even HR, there's everything, and I do recommend actually looking at certain days that Solenis do provide of internship and apprenticeship days, and yeah, see where you want to go in future life.
My name is Alicia, and I'm a University of Bradford student. I finished my first 3 years and now I'm on placement at a company in Blackburn called MI3. So I commute there for 2 hours every morning, and the company is a medical device company. So what they do is we have customers all around the UK and in Germany, and we create medical devices according to what they need. So the project that I'm currently working on is how to insert a heated wire inside this product called an endoscope. So what that does is it's a silicone-like tube, and you put it into a patient's body when they're in surgery, and the heated wire helps keep the body's organs at like a normal human body temperature. Because what usually happens is when there's air blowing into the tubes during surgery, it's at like an AC sort of temperature. So what the product that we've designed is to keep that temperature at a regular temperature to help them recover after surgery as well. So I only started my placement at the end of August, so I haven't been there long. But what I've seen so far is that manufacturing, it isn't just working in a factory and making and joining the product. There's a lot of different areas you can go into. So my role is a design engineer, so I help to design the products and implement them, but there's also quality. That's a huge aspect of engineering. So you can't really do engineering without doing quality as well, quality checks. Like for the product we're creating, there's a lot of tensile tests needing, leak tests to make sure that the product actually works. So all of the products that we create, they're specifically for customers. So whatever a customer wants, you have to create the product tailored towards them. And at the company I work at, there's more than one project that we work on. So next month, we're going to be working on a different project where it's creating a needle that can go into the kidneys straight in to help with different procedures. So there's a lot of different types of projects you can work on in medical engineering, because medical engineering isn't just designing. There's a whole lot of different aspects. It could be tissue engineering, it could be hip and knee implants, it could be prosthetics. There's a lot of different areas to biomedical engineering. The way I got into it was I attended a 1-week summer school at the University of Bradford when I was in sixth form. So I was in year 12 and I went on a 1-week summer school, and I had the chance to talk to a lot of different students doing different types of engineering. And from there, I originally wanted to do medicine, but I changed my mind and went into engineering instead, because during COVID there was a lot of different problems and I couldn't do what I wanted to do initially. So I thought I'd already did a summer school about engineering, so I thought that's a good field to go into. But even though engineering, it can be a lot of male-based positions, but it's slowly been increasing. Like, more females are going into engineering, and it's so amazing. So the company I'm working at, my manager and my manager's manager, they're both females and they're in really high positions, which wasn't really normal like a few years ago. Like, it was very male dominated, and females, they're becoming more into engineering, and we want to inspire you to go into engineering without worrying about how many males there are or if you're going to be outnumbered by them, because you can be just as good as all of the males, you're no less than them.
Hello, I'm Charlotte Meek, and I am at the other end of the spectrum from most people here. I'm creative director and founder of a small workwear business. So we manufacture everything ourselves in Keighley. We use UK source fabrics, and we don't get rid of any of our waste. So we've become known for our sustainable manufacturing over the last couple of years. So we now manufacture for other businesses as well. My journey was, I was actually going to go into accountancy at uni, and so messed up my A-levels. So I went to do textiles instead at Huddersfield, which textiles has always been my absolute passion. So it was an absolute blessing, I think. I did textile production, which is quite unusual. So it was all the manufacturing from the fibres right the way through to the marketing of the end product, so retail, and it just covered everything. So that set me up really well to do what I'm doing now. I did originally go into marketing and then changed. We've only been going 10 years, so I set up my business in my 40s. So it just shows that whatever you set out to do, there's always opportunities later on in life to do something that you know, if you find something that you really, really love, then you can change tack. We're a really small business, but we are 100% female, so it's not intentionally, it's just, that's just how it's happened. But we find that works really well for us. It's a very different environment if you're working with women than if you are with men. But I would encourage anybody here to look at apprenticeships, to look at going into manufacturing, particularly in textiles, because there's such a broad range. It's not just machining or designing, that you can go as an engineer, there's chemicals, there's a huge amount of interest in sustainability in textile manufacturing. And if anybody wants to come and see what we do, then please just get in touch with Bradford Manufacturing Week and we'll give you a tour. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Elaine Brown and I work at the University of Bradford. I am a mechanical engineer, and the story of how I got into engineering is a bit of a combination of luck and also being a bit bolshy, because when I was your age, when I was at school, I was not allowed to do metalwork, I was not allowed to do woodwork, and I was not allowed to do technical drawing, graphic design, anything like that, because, believe it or not, I'm old enough to be of the age that girls were not expected to go into that type of role. So when I was about 14 or 15, that annoyed me, but actually I felt a bit disempowered. I felt like I couldn't do anything about it. But I did like maths and science, so I chose maths and science, and then I got a chance to do a course, a bit like you were saying, a course for engineering, to try and get girls into engineering, because women were still very, of course, underrepresented. And that's when I learned about engineering, so that was the luck part. At that point, I realised that engineering, manufacturing, what really it's about is about helping people. And that's why it appealed to me, because what I really wanted to do was go out there and help people. I wanted to do things that would make a difference. And actually, manufacturing really does that. Because of all the stories that we've heard on the panel this morning, every single area does something that helps us live our lives, helps us live safely, helps us live cleanly, helps us with our health, helps us with everything. And for me, that's the heart of engineering. So why do I work in a university? Well, I really liked R&D, so I decided that I would do some research and development, and universities are really good places for that. My specialism is using ultrasound, which is high power ultrasound, to make measurements during plastic manufacture. So what I learned to do is to do something that was a bit different from anybody else. So that's the research part. And the bit that gave me real pleasure was doing something for the first time. So nobody else in the world had done what I then did in research. But all through this time, I was really aware that there were not many other women. And so I then made it a real part of my role to try to encourage younger women to go into engineering and manufacturing. And I'm really, really proud today that one of my ex-students and one of my current students is here on the panel. There are two kind of ways of looking at it, why we want more women involved in this. Partly that it's really good for you, for your careers. We've heard today about going to jobs that are really empowering, jobs that are exciting, jobs that pay well. This is really important for you as individuals. We also look at it from the flip side, that manufacturing and engineering needs diversity. We need all the different ideas, again, that the other panellists have talked about. And also that the Mayor talked about at the start, about the lived experience. Unless we bring our lived experiences into engineering and manufacturing, we can't learn enough to help everybody else in the world. So there's quite a lot of examples where things are designed for men because it was men that designed them. One of the big examples I was learning about recently was around football boots. And the Lionesses have become really, really successful at the women's football team. But there's a real high incidence of knee injuries in professional women footballers because the boots are not designed to suit the feet of the women, because it was never taken into account. So for me, what's really important is that we get women involved so that we've got all those diverse ideas, and that you can get involved so that you've got great careers ahead of you.
Wow, are we feeling inspired already? Now, this is your opportunity now to ask the panel anything you'd like to know. And this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for you, because it's very rare we get such superpower people in a room together from the field of manufacturing. That is not a fire drill, I think it's just been planned, so don't worry. Okay, so who would like to go with the first question? Don't be shy, we're all friends. Anyone? You must be itching to know something. Okay, I'm going to start with the first question then. What do you like most about your job? Lou.
The people. I love the people that I work with. I like creating the right team, the right culture. Like I said at the start, I love to come into work every day. I don't see it as a job. And I want other people to feel the same. I want people to work at Mansfield Pollard. I want them to enjoy being there, whether that's having the right tools to do the job, whether that's having some of the perks of doing a job. We have an on-site gym there, we have showers there, we hold lots of staff events, you get your birthday off. That creates a culture and a group of people that have a commonality, a shared goal. You spend, when you realise when you get older, you spend more time with your work family than you do with your own family. So you want to be around people that you want to spend time with, that you have similar shared goals in. So for me, it's the people.
Thank you, Lou. Anyone else?
The potential to develop the people, grow the business, and teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work.
That's okay. Yeah, I agree with Lou. It's the people. We have some incredible people that work with us, but also the people you meet along the way. I spend a lot of time talking to people externally as well, so meeting them and helping our customers to make their businesses successful as well. We definitely want to be a partner with our customers, and therefore that's really important, and their businesses are as important as ours.
I think there's a question at the back, but I'll just tell you after exam.
I'd like to hear you first.
Oh, no, that's fine. Okay. So, firstly, what I'll tell you a bit about my role and what I like the most. I work very independently, so I travel all around the UK, been to some amazing places. I've even travelled abroad with this company. But the main thing that I do enjoy is knowing that a woman can complete the job, because where I attend, there's no male at all. There's literally, I can say across the UK, the sites I attend, clean drinking water and wastewater, there's 3 women that I actually know. And I'm one of the people that visit regularly, and they do appreciate a woman or a female attending site and completing the job. So that's one of the main things I do enjoy.
Well done, Adrian. Now, can I just ask you a question about that? So, have you ever felt that it's been a barrier to you being a female in your role in such a male-dominated profession?
I don't think there's ever been a barrier. It's just having the confidence to do things yourself. It's just going there, knowing that you do and you are qualified to do what you're doing and completing the job. And again, it relies on confidence and being able to do it yourself. So, have faith.
Okay. Did we have a question on the floor? What inspires you to be an engineer? Who would like to say that question? Asia.
It's the creativity. So I wasn't quite sure what I actually wanted to do. I actually wanted to do medicine, but then I realised after doing A-levels that I was actually better in the chemistry and math side. So I thought, what can I actually do with these sort of A-levels? And then I Googled it and chemical engineering came up. So I just went with it all the way. I just put my head down. I think the first year I didn't sort of really know what chemical engineering actually entailed of. But then as I sort of completed the degree, I started to really enjoy what I was doing. There was brilliant lecturers, Dr. Elaine Brown. She taught me some useful skills that I still use till today. And it's just the creativity of engineering that I absolutely love.
Thank you. Do we have another question? Rita?
There's obviously a lot of young ladies in the room, and I just wondered what advice you might have given your younger self from where you're sat now that might inspire some of these ladies to go into your sectors.
Thank you. What would you say to your younger self?
Not dissimilar to what you just said. It's all about having confidence. I was quite shy as a child, wouldn't have picked the phone up to, excuse me, to book a doctor's appointment, a dentist appointment. So my advice to me in those days would have been to have more confidence and to not be frightened of making mistakes. I think there's a saying that says if you're not making mistakes, you're not trying hard enough. It's okay to make mistakes. We all make plenty of them. Just learn from them, have that confidence to keep going.
I would say, I reiterate that, confidence, but also take every opportunity that you're given. It may seem diverse and not relevant, but it all adds to the life experience.
So I still give this advice quite a lot to my students. Confidence, definitely. Make mistakes, because the best engineering, I think that is the fire alarm test. Yep. The only way we can discover things is by trying it lots of different times and lots of different ways. So making mistakes is actually one of the really fun parts. You obviously make them in a careful way. But the other bits of advice I would say is that you don't have to do it on your own, that there are lots of people who will support. So in most of the companies we've heard about, people like people, so people want other people to succeed. And definitely when you are a minority, which still happens for women in engineering and manufacturing, other women want women to succeed, so we help each other. And one of the big bits of advice I would say is to find yourself some supportive friends and to make connections, and don't be frightened of making those connections, because then you've got a friendly face to help you, even if it's just at the end of a call at the end of the day and saying, oh, I'm not sure if this went right, I'm not sure if that went wrong, because that confidence doesn't always come immediately, but it does come through time.
I believe we have a question at the back. I'm going to bring the microphone down, I think. It might be easier. Did you hear that? No. So if you think about going into manufacturing, what would be the best way to do that? What should somebody look into? Sorry, we've only got one mic.
I think manufacturing covers such a wide range of careers. I think the STEM subjects are really important. And the one way to get into manufacturing and to understand how it works is through apprenticeships. I think there's lots of manufacturers offer apprenticeships in all different areas of their business, and those are a really good way into manufacturing, and it does mean that you can continue to study and learn a career job as well at the same time.
I was going to say exactly the same thing. Consider apprenticeships. You can go through the traditional schooling of A-levels and university degrees, but modern apprenticeships are also a really good other option to consider. And I think when you're wanting that apprenticeship and when you're going into potential employers, is just think about where you're strong, your skill set, and most importantly, just have the right attitude. When we interview people, 50% of that interview process is around, have they got the right approach, have they got the right attitude? Actually more so than skills. You can teach skills every day of the week, but if you don't have the right attitude and you're not willing to put the effort in, that will always be a downfall. And that's a big part of what we look at when we're interviewing at any level, but particularly at apprenticeships.
Thank you. Charlotte?
I was just going to add that if you have a particular area of manufacturing that you're interested in getting into, get in touch with the company and see if you can have some work experience. I know that's part of the school curriculum, but that's quite a good way, and most companies will take you on for a couple of weeks and give you a broad sort of outline of what they do.
Some great advice there. Another question? Can you describe the challenging engineering project that you have worked on? Thank you, great question.
So I mentioned earlier that I have worked using ultrasound, which is high frequency sound, on polymers, plastics. The reason this was challenging is because that's not exactly what I was supposed to do to start off with. I was supposed to use ultrasound to measure sort of particles, like little pieces that were in the plastics. But when I was doing that, and I'd spent a lot of time doing lots of different experimental work and lots of different maths, because I was studying mechanical engineering, I realised that there was something a bit wrong. And when I first looked at it, I thought, there's an error here, there's a huge difference between what the theory says I'm doing and what I'm actually measuring. And it was only through trying lots of different things, making mistakes, trying different trials, different trial and error, but also applying my mind as to what might have been happening, that I realised that the sound was so sensitive to a temperature change that that was swamping everything else that I was trying to measure. Except the sensor that told us the temperature wasn't changing. So as far as anybody knew, there was no change in temperature, but my sensor, my sound sensor, was telling me something different. So the big challenge was actually working out a different way of measuring things so that I could do things in 3 different ways and compare all the results. And then the biggest challenge was then persuading the industrial sponsor that actually something that they thought was happening wasn't actually happening. And the best bit of it was that when we realised that the sensor was working correctly, my sensor, it made a huge difference to their product. It meant that they could make their product better, high quality, with less waste, less energy, and it saved them a lot of money. So they were very happy, and from the science I was very happy. But it was really challenging.
Thank you. Anyone else?
So even though we're quite a small company, that enables us to look at innovations within textiles. So we've got 2 projects which we're looking at the moment. One of them is looking at 3D avatars for the fit on women's workwear. Because as you said, there's a massive difference. Most products are designed for men. So we're trying to turn that on its head and look at fitting women through scanning and digitizing patterns. The other project that we're looking at is sustainability in workwear. There's a massive problem with most workwear is a cotton polyester mix, which means it can't be recycled. So we're trying to look at how we can design an end of life, how we can make the products last longer. So even though if you go and work for a small company, that doesn't mean that you're going to be limited by what you're actually able to achieve.
So a project that I'm currently working on is dosing a chemical that is basically settling sewage work a lot faster. So when it goes through the process, these bugs eat the sewage and create this gas, which is then used for creating electricity. And in the lab, I've been working on a project where I've tried to scale up The chemical that I'm actually dosing into a large tank on site, it's actually in Dewsbury, and proving that the company actually is saving money using our chemical. So it's been very challenging, and there's been some very hard complications, but Solenis have got the ability to overcome these, and it's successful, and they're currently doing it now in Yorkshire Water Dewsbury site. So.
I'm sure you find that very rewarding as well. Have some questions down the back.
What do you see in the future of engineering, and what do you think it will involve?
What a great question. Who would like to say that one? The future of engineering.
Future engineering, Solenis value sustainability very much, and currently the products that some of the products that Solenis are offering are not bio-based, and the future is heading towards bio-based products. So it helps with the sustainability sort of side of the company, reducing carbon emissions, and that's where we're heading towards, hopefully, in the near future.
I think it's only bound by our imagination. So the further we get on in time, the more discoveries we make. There's a lot in the future around personalising things for different types of people. So we can measure things a lot more than we used to. We can handle data a lot more than we used to. So we are now getting to the stage where we're trying to design things better for individuals. But the really important thing is to do it sustainably. So there's much more of a thought from the very, very start of your design as to how you can make it better so it can be recycled, reused. There's lots of examples this morning from the panel talking about that as well. So the future is huge, basically. There are so many different jobs and so many different new things out there.
I would have firstly said sustainability. I think there is a large focus, particularly in manufacturing, to look at more sustainable manufacturing, becoming carbon neutral, carbon negative. In old style traditional manufacturing, that is a big part of that is looking at your machinery as an example, how much power it's consuming, how much carbon it's throwing out, and that takes significant investment, and that is a challenge as an owner to be able to continue to upgrade your machinery to make sure that it's efficient as it can be, looking at your fleet of cars, can we change to electric cars, hybrid cars, those types of things. And then on the people side again, I think certainly since lockdown there's been much more of a shift towards hybrid working, flexible working, people wanting more work-life balance. And again, as a manufacturing company that has 60% of its employees in a factory, 40% office side, is working out what's fair and what's right and how we can do the best to support people in their home life and their work life. So for us, there's the sustainability side, the people side, and then always the redevelopment, the innovation of continuing to evolve your products.
Always changing, always changing all over. So, another question, please.
How do you use the skills you learn at school in your current engineering role?
The skills you learnt at school and in your current engineering role. Charlotte.
When I was at school, I loved maths. I wasn't very good at it, but I did love it. And I found that that's one of the things that you think when you're studying maths, that you're not actually going to use it. I use it every single day. For costings, for quotes for people, for working out how much fabric we need. It is quite amazing how much you use it. Also English, we write bid proposals, we do PR releases. So I think, although I'm not STEM, so I'm kind of the creative side of it, even maths and English and art as well. So it is quite amazing how much you actually do use it. And also I did a degree in textiles, and I use that every single day. So nothing is ever wasted. And even if you come back to it later on in life, it is really important to get the basics.
I did commerce at school. I don't know whether they call it commerce anymore. I guess it's called business studies. Maths, English, yeah, they're all applicable to what I use today. In terms of the guys that we've got working for us, chemistry, physics, maths, it's all applicable. Everything's relative to what you want to do, particularly from our perspective, the STEM subjects.
I think I was similar. I was strong in maths and sciences through my A-levels, but then I went on to do an apprenticeship and a degree in business management. And there's a side there of soft skills as well, so it's important that you get some qualifications early on. But there's also, if you want to succeed in a business and move up a business, all these ladies sat here have to have a level of teamwork and ability to be driven and passionate and resilient and get up every day. And sometimes you have bad days, everybody has bad days, but as a business leader, certainly where we are at the moment, you can't come into work on that day and look like you're having a bad day, because people worry. Yet we have 160 people, and if I've got a gloomy face, somebody thinks, is there something wrong in this business? She's not smiling today. So you have got to have academic skills, but you've got to have soft skills as well of getting up, carrying on, even on the bad days. Just keep pushing forwards.
Thank you, Lynn. Alicia, you're still on your superpower journey at the moment, so why engineering for you?
When I was in secondary and sixth form, there were a lot of people that told me that I couldn't do engineering, like I wasn't made for it, and I don't like being told what to do, so I did the opposite and I went into engineering to prove to people who said I couldn't that I could. My own family, they weren't the most supportive, so then I had to prove them wrong as well, so then that's why I chose engineering. And then I'm really interested in my field, and I enjoy my job as well. I have a lot of freedom at work, so it all worked out for me. That's why I went into engineering.
This girl can. Another question.
What do your companies do to keep our environment clean?
We've spoken about our sustainability, so what do your companies do to keep our environment clean? Julie, would you like to say?
As I work for a company that's based in hygiene, then I ought to say something. We develop products to make sure that our customers use less energy and less water to keep the textiles clean. So our clever chemistry helps meet their environmental targets, and the laundry industry here has had really high targets for reducing wastewater and reducing energy use for quite a few years. So that's something we do. So we help them to bring wash temperatures down in their laundries by using clever chemistry. So we innovate in chemistry and test it all in the labs before it goes out to our customers as well. We also help them to capture heat out of wastewater and put it into the incoming water into the laundry, so they use less energy to heat water, but also that helps environmentally with not putting hot water down drains, which you'll know we're not allowed to do. So we help them to filter water as well so they can reuse it. So we do a lot on that sustainable side. We're also having solar panels fitted on our factories as well. But our products go into healthcare as well, so we help keep our hospitals clean and safe and make sure that the products that we supply meet the criteria for that, and that helps keep all of us safe. Even though you probably don't realise it can be quite technical, and it's really important to our health service that we continue to do that.
think one of the things that we've noticed quite recently is that the word chemical is used quite a lot in the media in a negative way, and yet I think we've heard today quite a lot about how chemicals are really important. And I think one of the things that is really interesting is that if we ask young people about what chemists or chemical engineers do, for example, a lot of people think that's a bad thing, and yet it's at the heart of keeping everything clean and keeping everything safe, and the sustainability that you asked about, that what the companies do. If we measure what kind of energy we're putting into a manufacturing process, if we do things in a way that we can separate the chemicals out better afterwards, then we are doing more than most other sectors in order to actually keep things clean and to keep things sustainable. So don't be frightened of terms like chemical and energy and engineering and manufacturing, because actually these people are the people who are doing it.
Thank you. Okay, we've got our last 5 minutes with our expert panel, so I'm just going to ask each of them to please give the audience one piece of advice.
My advice was actually mentioned at the very, very start, which is find a job that you enjoy. So look at what you enjoy doing now, and look at how you can apply that into a career, because I think it was yourself, Vicky, said at the start, if you enjoy what you do, you actually become really good at it because you want to do it all the time because it's something you like doing. And then you become really good at it, and suddenly you start to do really well in your career. So find a passion and how you can link that into a career, and you'll hopefully get to a place where you'll love going to work every day because it doesn't feel like a job.
I'll agree with what you say. You know, find your passion, work towards that. Take every opportunity, and just enjoy the process, enjoy the learning process, wherever it takes you.
A lot of you won't know what you want to do, so make the most of the time you've got at school, work on your subjects. The broader range of subjects you study now, as you get older, it narrows down quite often. So if you've got that broad base of subjects now from your education here and A-levels, then that will always stand you in good stead for the future and give you more opportunities in the future. But find what you really like doing. I think, yeah, there'll be something that is your thing, and it's what you're good at and what you enjoy, and follow that.
I would say work hard, be confident in yourself, and don't let knockbacks or setbacks set you back, basically. Keep trying and never give up.
My advice is do your research and apply for any opportunity you can. So even if you think you can't get it, there is a big chance that you can. So a couple of years ago, I applied for this trip abroad that I really didn't think I was going to get, and I did end up getting it, and it was really good. So don't be scared of applying to things, just apply.
I would say don't be afraid of change, and don't be afraid of stepping out of your comfort zone. Some of the best things I've done have been when I've kind of had to dig really deep and kind of go, okay, we'll give this a go. Because I think that's where you get the best opportunities, is when you're really pushing yourself.
Wow, amazing advice. Your voice is important. What you want to do, what you think about is really important, and we need you to have that confidence. So my advice is be confident, don't be afraid, don't worry if somebody says no to you, because ultimately you will be able to persuade them that what you're saying is really important as well. The right people will say yes. So that's my advice.